Welcome back to Champion the Passion, a weekly pro wrestling podcast where we inspire you to champion your passions and celebrate the joy of what you love. I'm your host. My name is Victoria Daisy, and today is a very exciting bonus episode because today we are going to be talking and predicting and previewing everything happening at NXT Stand and Deliver this weekend, WrestleMania weekend. Stand and Deliver is NXT's WrestleMania. It is their biggest show of the year, and today we're going to be predicting everything going on the show, and I'm so excited. But before we dive in, don't forget to leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed. Follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms, and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. But let's get right into it. So you guys know that for my podcast episodes, I'm usually recapping the shows. And I always have notes because, there's a lot to keep track of in this head. And today we do not have notes. I have my phone. If you're watching on the video version, I have a picture on my phone of all the matches for Stand and Deliver. And we are going to go through each and every one of them and talk about all the possibilities of who could win, what could happen, and it's going to be so much fun. I also will be dropping a second bonus episode today, later on in the evening, of my WrestleMania nights 1 and 2 for WrestleMania 41 preview / predictions, whatever you want to call it. And I am so excited about it. But let's dive in, okay? Because this year's Stand and Deliver is so good. Like, I don't think we are ready for what's coming our way on Saturday. So if you want to watch NXT Stand and Deliver, it will be available streaming exclusively on Peacock at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, I believe. And it is going to be so good. There also is a countdown to Stand and Deliver, which I believe starts at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And that will be available on Peacock and WWE social platforms. So on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all that fun stuff. So speaking of countdown to Stand and Deliver, let's talk about the match that is on the pre-show. And I'm honestly kind of mad that this is on the pre-show. I definitely do think it was show worthy, but whatever. They have their reasons. So on the pre-show, we have one match, and it is a number one contenders fatal 4-way tag team elimination match for the women. So whoever wins this match will have an opportunity next Tuesday to challenge for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. So whoever wins this will be facing Liv and Raquel on NXT next week. I know that's pretty crazy. So let's talk about the tag teams that are in this match. So first we have Roxanne and Cora Jade. I hope they lose. Then we have the Meta Girls, Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. We have 2 out of 3 members of Fatal Influence, JC Jane and Fallon Henley. And then we also have Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley. So this is very interesting. Now, right off the bat, I immediately want to say that the Meta Girls are going to win because honestly, I mean, they've had tag team championship opportunities before. This isn't their first go around. I believe they had their opportunity against Bianca and Naomi in New York a month or 2 ago. And they were, was that the match? I think that was the match. They were unsuccessful, but I think that the Meta Girls are ready to go to the main roster, to be honest. Like, I think they're one of the few women's tag teams or factions that are completely ready to go. And they've been on the main roster a couple times, like just one-off appearances. But I genuinely think that they could win this match. I mean, I think out of all the tag teams, they are most capable. They probably have the highest odds of winning. Roxanne and Cora, even though they have history together, which makes sense for their pairing, it's also like they're not an official tag team, you know? They're so busy doing their own single stuff that I don't think that they would try and have a run with the tag team titles. Now, they definitely can. I'm not saying they can't, but also I don't see anybody who's winning this match beating Liv and Raquel, obviously, since they have that match at WrestleMania this weekend. So I guess this title defense would be after WrestleMania. I don't know. I just don't see it. So as far as this match goes, it is an elimination match. So whoever gets pinned doesn't mean the match is over. They just continue trickling down to the last 2 tag teams. Now, Fatal Influence is a very dominant faction right now in the women's division. So they obviously have a shot at winning this match. Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan, they are consistent. When I think of them, I think they're consistent. I think that they have put in the hard work to become a dominant tag team, just like the Meta Girls. And I think that the match could honestly come down to the Meta Girls and Gigi and Tatum. And if I had to make a prediction on who's going to win this, as much as I think the most reasonable option is the Meta Girls, I don't know why I feel like they might not win this. But who knows? Maybe they will. So you know what? I'm just going to pick the Meta Girls because there's something in me that says that they still got it in them to go one more time. And like, what if they actually beat Liv and Raquel? And what if they bring the women's tag team championships home to NXT? We know that main roster and NXT, they share them across brands. So I would love to see them bring those tag titles down to NXT. Do I think it'll happen though? No. All right. Let's move on into the actual card for the actual show. So the very first match we're going to talk about, if you watched and listened to my NXT recap yesterday, you would have heard me raving about this match because I'm so excited. It's probably the one I'm most excited for, or one of the ones I should say. So we have a 6-man tag team match between the D'Angelo family and Dark State. I am so excited about this match. I love Dark State so much. And I also love the D'Angelo family, but I'm such a huge fan of Dark State. I love what they've been doing with them. And I said this yesterday, like, Dark State's presentation, if you will, it's inspiration of things we've seen in the past, but it's entirely its own new thing, if that makes sense. And it's something we don't have on the main roster. It's something we definitely don't have in NXT. So they're bringing a new flavor, a new interest into that realm. And I'm just obsessed. Also, I love all the guys individually. I think that they're really good from what we've seen so far of them. And I'm super excited. So this match is tricky because as much as I just want to say, oh yeah, Dark State's winning, they're building a story right now between the D'Angelo family and Dark State. So I don't know. I'm a little conflicted on who's going to actually win this match. I want to say Dark State's going to win. They've been on a very dominant run, and I think it would be silly just to cut it so short. And obviously, I'm not saying they'll never win again, but they're kind of on a high right now. If that makes sense. They won their first match, when was it? A couple weeks ago against Trick, Oba, and Javon. And then, you know, they're just so dominant by always attacking people, always bringing chaos, that like for them to lose on their second match on the grandest stage of them all for NXT, it would just be silly to have them lose, you know? I don't know. But then also it really sucks to have the D'Angelo family lose because they also are a super big staple faction in NXT. So it's really hard. I'm going to trust WWE and NXT with this one. I obviously know that they're building a huge storyline with them right now. But I think I'm going to have to say Dark State's going to win this. I think Dark State has more to lose here as far as their reputation goes. And so I would say Dark State's going to win this match. Next, we have a very, very exciting match. We have a match for the NXT North American Championship. Ricky Saints, our brand new champ, defending against a longtime friend, Ethan Page. Now, this match, it's going to be so good. If you guys watched Ethan and Ricky back in AEW, you would know how good they both are. Unless this is your first time seeing them, then you're just getting familiar with them. But just so you know, it's going to be a banger. It's going to be a banger. So watch out and stay focused because it's going to be good. This is definitely not a pee break time or a pee break match. Don't you dare get up. Stay glued to that TV because they're going to put on a show. I just know it. Now, I think it's pretty obvious that Ethan Page is not going to win back that title. I think Ricky's going to successfully defend, but I do think it's going to be one of those like close call matches where we think Ethan's going to win a couple times and then it's just not going to end up happening. But I'm pretty confident that Ricky is going to secure that. Speaking of title defenses, we have a huge match for the women. We have a fatal 4-way for the NXT Women's Championship. Stephanie Vaquer, our champion, defending against former champion Julia, Jada Parker, and Jordan Grace. So this match is going to be so good. And this is one of those matches where, as opposed to Ricky's, where I was super confident on the outcome, I don't actually know what's going to happen. And I don't know. I do want to say that Stephanie is going to retain, but possibly at the cost of something else. I mean, we know Julia has recently turned heel, so I do not expect her to win at all. I don't really see Jordan Grace winning. And as much as you guys know I love Jada Parker, I think she can win that championship, just not right now. So I think I'm pretty now I'm pretty confident, now that I kind of just explained it all and just like thought about it. I think I'm confident saying Stephanie Vaquer is going to retain, but I definitely do think this is going to open some sort of feud or storyline either between Juliet and Stephanie or Jada and I don't know. I think something's going to come out of this match. I don't exactly know what, but I'm here for it and I think it's going to be so good. All right, let's move to the second half of matches. We have another title defense. There's a lot of title defense. I think every single title is being defended, which is so iconic. We have the NXT Championship on the line. Oba Femi defending in a triple threat against Javon Evans and Trick Williams. Now this, oh my gosh. So obviously we're going to have title. I mean, I don't think everyone's going to retain, right? Like somebody has to lose their title, right? Crap. I don't know. And I'll get to, because we still have two more title defenses technically. One of them is a ladder match for a championship, so it's not really a defense, so we'll get a new champion. But we also have the NXT Tag Team Championships on the line, and I'll talk about that in a second, but I feel like we might get a title change there. But as far as Oba Femi staying champion, what are the odds? I don't know. I'm trying to think. I feel like Oba's going to retain, because I definitely don't see Trick winning the title, because again, if you saw my NXT recap yesterday, I talked a little bit about how, well, what if Javon wins the championship? I know it sounds crazy. I know it's a little delusional, but the odds are low, but never zero. And you have to keep that in mind because sometimes crazy things happen in the world of professional wrestling. And so this definitely could be one of those things. I don't know. I'm kind of just like looking at the picture of the three of them, and I'm just so torn right now because I don't think Trick is going to, I think Trick and Oba need to get called up at some point. I think for sure Trick, I think Oba could probably stay in NXT a little bit longer, and Javon definitely has to stay there for a little longer, for a lot longer, I should say. But Trick definitely has to get called up soon. And I think obviously there's been a lot of comparison between him and Carmelo recently. So I think if he got called up, he could go to SmackDown and we could run that back with Carmelo, which I think would be so much fun because right now Carmelo is kind of in a booty storyline with The Miz right now. It's like not giving. So I think Trick could kind of like save him from that and they could have a fun little thing. And obviously Raw after Mania, SmackDown after Mania, those are huge shows and usually we see a lot of call-ups then. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that. So I'm going to say that Oba Femi retains this title, but I don't think I'd be terribly shocked if Javon won. Okay, that's a lie. I'd be a little shocked. But I don't know. Like, I don't know why. I just had this little inkling. You guys have been like making fun of me, but like low key, like what if Javon wins, like I told you so. So just keep that in mind. Also, let's talk about the NXT Tag Team Championship match. So we have Fraxium defending against Hank and Tank, and this is where I think we'll see a title change. Now, Fraxium has been probably the most dominant NXT Tag Team champions that we've had in an extremely long time. And, you know, they obviously still could go on for longer, I think, but I honestly feel like they could get called up. I think they are ready in every way possible. And I think they've outgrown NXT, to be honest. And I feel like Hank and Tank over the course of the last couple months have really proved to be top dogs in the NXT men's tag team division. And I really could see them winning the titles and like being so freaking dominant and becoming like megastars in NXT. And so I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. So I'm going to predict that Hank and Tank are going to win those tag team championships. I'm so excited about that match and I really do think it's going to be so good. All right, let's talk about our final match, I believe. Yes, okay. So this is a 6-woman ladder match for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Obviously, if you guys have been watching, you know that Stephanie Vaquer won the NXT Women's Championship in Madison Square Garden's theater about a month ago. And so she was double champ for a little bit, but then she ended up having to vacate the Women's North American Championship because her and Ava decided that, you know, they both need to be defended frequently and that was just not sustainable for her to have both. So she ended up vacating it. And then now there's a 6-woman ladder match to determine who's going to be the new champion. So we have 6 women to talk about. So let's talk about them. There was qualifier matches for the past 3 weeks, I believe. So 2 a week. And we ended up landing with this match. So we have Zarya, Thea Hale, Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, Sol Ruka, and Izzy Dame. So we could do process of elimination right here because we obviously know Kalani Jordan was the first ever women's North American champion. So I'm going to take her out. She obviously could win it again, but I don't think she's going to win it. I think it's going to be somebody else. So Ruka recently became the women's speed champion. So I don't think she would, excuse me, win per se. I think Lola Vice and Izzy Dame. The thing with Lola Vice is, like, I definitely do think she could be champion. I just don't think that time is now. Same thing with Thea Hale. And for me, it really comes down to Zarya and Izzy Dame. I would love to see Izzy Dame hold that championship, but I think if you want to go down the route of splitting up Zarya and Sol Ruka, you have Zarya win the title and then have Sol Ruka be like jealous of it and let that kind of divide them. But I think it really, for me, comes down to Izzy Dame and Zarya. And I'm a little torn right now because, again, I would love to see both of them with that championship. Oh, gosh, that's really hard. Crap. I feel like the safe bet is saying Zarya, but I feel like the wild card would be Izzy Dame. So I'm honestly a little torn. Oh, my gosh. Okay, you know what? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm just going to say... I'm going to say Zarya wins. Am I confident in that answer? No. But I'm going to say that Zarya wins. Yeah, I'm looking at everyone else and I just don't feel that Thea or Lola are ready. And then Kalani was like, she's already had her moment with that title. And Sol could win it, to be honest. Actually, I wouldn't be terribly mad. She'd low-key be a double champ, which I love that for her. Sol definitely could win it, but... crap. Now I'm feeling, what if Sol Ruka wins? Gosh. And one thing I do with these prediction videos is that I don't premeditate any of my thoughts. I come into this completely blind. I just take the image of all the matches and I just go over them with you guys in the moment. So that's why I'm kind of like tweaking out right now, because I didn't think about this prior, because I wanted to give my real authentic thoughts in the moment. But you know what? We're just going to stick with Zarya. I don't feel confident in that at all. Part of me wants to say Izzy. Part of me wants to say Sol. But I'm just going to go with the safe. Oh, crap. Now I feel like Sol Ruka is going to win. Oh, my gosh. What if Sol Ruka wins? You know what? I'm just going to leave this undecided, because I simply cannot, for the life of me, pinpoint who I think is going to win this. Who I want to win is a different story, but who I actually predict to win, I just don't think. You know what? I'm just going to say it's between Zarya, Izzy, and Sol. Part of me thinks it's really just between Zarya and Sol, but we'll see what happens. But thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this episode of Champion the Passion. Again, don't forget that I have my second bonus episode of the day coming out later this evening, where I'm going to be predicting every single match happening on both nights of WrestleMania 41. It's going to be an epic episode, and I don't want you guys to miss out. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed. Follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms, and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. Don't forget to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye!